Hi guys, in this video we are going to work with solving a cubic equation. Right, a cubic equation is denoted by this standard formula: ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d equated to 0. So this is what you should note. A cubic equation is a third-degree equation, meaning that the solutions should be, we should have 3 solutions in this case, right? Okay, let's consider we are required to solve for x, right? So this is our first question. We are required to solve for x. We are given x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6 equated to 0. So, okay, when we are given a cubic equation, this is what you should always remember, guys. You can't just factorize. There's a method that we are using. It's called a factor theorem remainder. In that method, we use possible factors. So the possible factors that you can use, it's 1 plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, as well as plus or minus 12, plus or minus 16. Right, so these are the possible factors. So when you substitute those possible factors, you must get 0, right? Let's try 1. If we try 1 cubed minus 4 times 1 squared plus 1 plus 6, that doesn't give us 0, it gives us 4. Let's try putting now negative 1. Take your calculator there and put it, go with me. Let's do this. Okay, place negative 1 where there is x, right? Okay, we are doing that. What are we getting? Let's see. When we substitute negative 1, we get 0. Okay, when you substitute negative 1 in this equation, you get 0. So that means x is equals to negative 1. It's a factor. So when you take negative 1 to the other side, it will be x plus 1. So x plus 1 is a factor to this equation. Okay, right? So there are many ways to work out to solve a cubic equation. Some can use an inspection method. Some can use a K method. Oh yes, which is the same as inspection. Some can use a long division. Some can use a short division, which is a synthetic division. In this video, I will show you a shorter way, which is a synthetic division. Right, let's get into today's video. So when using a synthetic division, we are going to use an L backward. Okay, so this is where you will place your factor, or should I say your divisor, if I'm not mistaken, where you should place. Okay, here we are going to place negative 1. Sorry for putting x plus 1. You will take the original equation, the coefficients. Coefficient of x cubed, that will be 1. Coefficient of x squared, that will be negative 4. Coefficient of x, that will be 1. And a constant, 6. First thing first, we are going to drop a coefficient of x cubed, which is 1. You drop, bring it down. So it's a short division, guys. You will see how we are going to work out this. 1 times negative 1, that will be negative 1. Negative 1 plus negative 4, that will give us negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 1, that will be positive 5. 5 times 1, that will be 5 plus 1, that will be 6. 6 times negative 1, that will be negative 6. And negative 6 plus 6 is the same as 6 minus 6, which will be 0. We are done. Then, note, we have a binomial, which is x plus 1. So place your factor, x plus 1. You can see that this is a trinomial. It's in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c equated to 0. So let's factorize. What is the coefficient of x squared? That's 1. So let's place x squared. Coefficient of b, coefficient of x, yeah, that's going to be -5. Coefficient of bx, that's going to be, or coefficient of x, that will be -5 there. The constant, that will be +6, right? Equated to 0. So we are not done, guys. We have x plus 1. So we need to factorize this. So we're going to have 3 brackets. Factors of x squared, that will be x. Factors of 6, that will give us 3. That will give us -5. That's 3 and 2. So since it's since the last term is a positive sign and the middle term is a negative sign, they will take a sign of a middle term. So it's going to be -3 and -2 equated to 0. Okay, so x plus 1 equated to 0, or x minus 3 equated to 0, or x minus 2 equated to 0. So from here, let's take +1 to the other side. That will be -1. Let's take let's take -3 to the other side. That will be +3. Let's take -2. That will be +2. So in other words, we have x is equals to -1, or x is equals to 3, or x is equals to 2. So that's how you can solve the first equation using a synthetic division. Now let's go and work with the second equation, right? Right, the second equation, we're given x cubed minus 5x plus 2 equated to 0. So we are required to solve for x. Guys, there's something that is missing here. You may recall that we have a x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. This is a standard equation equated to 0. From this equation, we can see that we do have x cubed, but do we have bx squared there? Definitely we don't have bx squared. Instead, we have cx, we also have d. So what do we do when it's like this? You need to rewrite this as x cubed plus, then since it's not given, we don't have b, so we are going to place 0. So it's going to be x cubed plus 0x squared minus 5x plus 2 equated to 0. So from here, we need to find the factors. Try 1. When you try 1 here, 1 cube plus 0, 1 squared there, minus 5, 1, minus 5 times 1 plus 2. Does it give us 0? No. Let's try -1. When we try -1 cube plus 0, and let's place 0, -1 squared minus 5 times -1 plus 2. Does it give us 0? No. Now let's try +2. 2 cube minus 5 times 2 plus 2. 2 cube will give us 8, as well as a -5 times 2 will give us 10 plus 2. So in other words, we have 8 minus 10 plus 2. That will be equal to 0. So meaning that 2 is a factor. So in other words, we have x is equals to 2. Then when we take 2 to the other side, it will be x minus 2. So it's a factor. It's a factor of this equation. It's a factor of this equation. Okay. So, all right. Without wasting time, let's use our synthetic division, our short division. So here we are going to place 2, which is our factor. Place your coefficient of x cubed, that will be 1. Coefficient of x squared, that will be 0. Then coefficient of cx, that will be -5, and the constant, which is 2. Remember that I told you, you have to first drop the coefficient of x cubed, which is 1. So it's going to be 1 here. 1 times the factor, 1 times 2, that will be 2. 2 plus 0, that will be 2 there. 2 times 2, that will be 4. What is 4 plus 5? 4 plus 5, that will be 4 plus -5, that will be -1. -1 times 2, that will be -2. And -2 plus 2, that will be 0. So we already have our factor there as x minus 2. The trinomial, remember that this will be x squared, and this will be plus 2x, and the constant minus 1 equated to 0. So we can, if we equate this to 0, what are we getting? We are getting x is equals to 2. But can we factorize this? The factors of -1 cannot give us positive 2, so we can use a quadratic formula. In this case, let's use a quadratic. So it's going to be x is equals to negative b plus or minus, since we do not have the factors, plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so that will be, our b will be positive 2 plus or minus 2 squared minus our a, it's 1, then our c, it's going to be minus 1 divided by 2a, which is 1 there. Then we are having negative 2 plus or minus, let's work out what is inside the root. Right, so this will be 4. Okay, negative 4 times 1 times negative 4 times negative 1, I mean. Negative 4 times negative 1, that will be positive 4, okay, divided by 2. Therefore, or let's work out this. 4 plus 4, we know that will be root 8 divided by 2 plus or minus. So what is going to happen here in this case? The factors of 8, that will be 4 times 2 divided by 2. So let's work out plus or minus. So we have negative 2. Factors of 4, it's 2. Factors of root 2, that will be root 2. So this is the solution. We are not done. We can continue further from here. We can. So when you take out the highest common factor here, what are you going to have? If you take out the highest common factor, it's 2 in this case. So we can have 2 times negative 1 plus or minus root 2 divided by 2. So meaning that this and this, they cancel. So our solution will be negative 1 plus or minus root 2. Okay. So that's how you can work out this type of equations. Remember that the factors of a cubic equation are the x-intercept. Factors of cubic equation are the x-intercept. Hope you find this video useful. Grade 12. This will help you in calculus. If you're new to this channel, what are you waiting for? Let's subscribe. Our second video will be about finding the equation of a tangent. We are working on calculus. After calculus, we are going to tackle other chapters that are complex, because remember that you only get better in mathematics when you practice until you get better. Remember, we love you.